I came home early from work and discovered my girlfriend in bed with a college student. In a fit of rage, I attacked him, and now I'm facing assault charges that could land me in prison, while she refuses to take any responsibility for her betrayal. I'm a 28-year-old man, and this has been the worst day of my life. My girlfriend, 26, and I had been together for 3 years. We shared a cozy 2-bedroom apartment that we both called home. I left work early due to a splitting headache and arrived home around midday. Nothing could have prepared me for what I found. I pushed open our bedroom door and saw my girlfriend in bed with a 19-year-old guy right in the middle of it. The sight is seared into my mind. They both froze when they noticed me. She hurriedly climbed off him and he lay there half-naked, stunned. For a moment I was paralyzed with shock. She stammered, "Hold on, it's not what you think, it's just physical, it doesn't mean anything." As if that somehow made it okay. Her words jolted me out of my daze and I saw red. I completely lost control. The next moments are a blur of anger and shouting. I lunged at the guy, throwing punches. I'm not a small person and my fury was overwhelming. I struck him in the face and he tumbled off the bed. I vaguely recall my girlfriend yelling for me to stop, grabbing at my arm, and I think I pushed her away. The kid tried to get up, likely to escape, but I tackled him and kept hitting. I didn't stop until he was curled up on the floor, motionless. Only then did I realize he was barely conscious, blood covering his face. I had beaten him senseless in our bedroom. Everything after that felt surreal. My girlfriend was hysterical, sobbing and screaming. I stood there, panting, my hands bloodied, staring at the unconscious college student on our carpet. The gravity of what I'd done hit me like a ton of bricks. Then the police arrived. A neighbor downstairs had heard the chaos and called 911. The cops burst in, pulled me away from the kid, though I'd already stopped, and pinned me against the wall. They cuffed me and arrested me on the spot. I didn't resist. I was in shock, grappling with both the betrayal I'd witnessed and the realization that I'd lost control and brutalized someone. They hauled me out of my own apartment in handcuffs as paramedics tended to the kid. My girlfriend was screaming that I was a violent lunatic as they led me away. I spent the next 2 nights in jail, a sentence I never thought I'd utter about myself. Sitting in a cell with other men, I replayed the events endlessly, trying to comprehend how my life unraveled in a single afternoon. I'm charged with aggravated assault causing significant bodily harm. The kid ended up with a concussion and a deep cut on his head that required stitches. Apparently, when I tackled him, his head hit the nightstand or floor, worsening the injuries from my punches. After 2 grueling nights in a holding cell, I was released on bail. My dad bilayed me out, and I'd never seen him so angry. The silent ride home from jail was one of the lowest points of my life. Now, reality is sinking in. I'm facing felony charges, and my lawyer, a criminal defense attorney I had to hire immediately, says a conviction could mean 2 to 5 years in prison. All because I lost my temper for maybe 30 seconds. Legally, it doesn't matter that I was provoked by catching my girlfriend cheating. That doesn't justify assault. The kid was unarmed and I was the aggressor. There's no self-defense argument here. I just snapped. To make matters worse, my now ex-girlfriend has been completely callous. She's been staying at her sister's since the incident and didn't return to the apartment after my arrest. I called her once after getting out on bail, desperate to understand why she did this. The call went as badly as you'd expect. She screamed at me, calling me a dangerous maniac, and saying I was lucky I didn't kill the kid. She kept repeating that it was just physical and meant nothing, and that I had no right to react the way I did. That phrase, "it meant nothing," haunts me. To her, sleeping with someone else in our bed was trivial, but to me it was everything. I loved and trusted her, and she shattered our life together for nothing. I told her never to come back, and she said I needed therapy before hanging up. That was the end of us. 3 years together, gone in the ugliest way possible. She shows no remorse for cheating, only upset that I attacked the guy. In her eyes, I'm the villain, and yes, I know I'm wrong for what I did, but she completely dismisses her role in sparking this. On top of that, the kid's parents are furious and threatening to sue me. I haven't spoken to them directly and shouldn't, but my lawyer says they're considering a civil lawsuit for medical bills and emotional distress. As if a criminal case isn't enough, they might come for what little money I have. I get their anger. If someone beat my son unconscious, I'd be livid, but it's another burden piling on. I could end up a convicted felon and financially ruined. It gets worse. My career is in tatters. Word of my arrest spread quickly. It was in the local news, and we live in a small community. My boss found out almost immediately, and HR put me on unpaid administrative leave pending an investigation. I'm pretty sure that's a step before firing me. I worked in a field where a clean record and sound judgment are critical, and it's hard to convince anyone you're reliable after making headlines for a violent assault. I expect to be fired any day now. Even if I avoid jail, this incident will make finding a job nearly impossible. Who hires someone with a reputation for losing control? My landlord is also on my case. The apartment management sent a notice citing the police incident as a lease violation. They've hinted I'm not welcome to renew my lease, and any further issues could lead to eviction. The neighbors saw me being dragged out in cuffs, so I'm not expecting friendly waves in the hallway. I might have to move out, but with no job and mounting legal fees, I can barely afford to stay, let alone relocate. So to recap, I caught my girlfriend cheating in our home, I lost it and attacked the guy, and now my life is in ruins. I'm facing charges that could send me to prison, I'm about to lose my job, my ex is painting me as the sole villain while ignoring her betrayal. The kid's family might sue me into bankruptcy. My own family is deeply disappointed, my mom sobbed, saying, "This isn't the son I raised," and my dad barely speaks to me, and I'm likely getting kicked out of my apartment. On top of it all, I'm struggling to process the betrayal and humiliation of catching her in the act. I'm angry, heartbroken, and terrified. I know I brought this on myself by resorting to violence, but I never imagined my life could implode like this in one afternoon. If anyone has advice on navigating the legal system, coping with the emotional fallout, or anything else, I'm listening. I never thought I'd be the guy posting online about my girlfriend cheating, beating someone up, and ruining my life, but here I am. I feel like I'm drowning, and I don't know how to move forward. Update 1, thank you to everyone who responded to my original post. I read many of your comments, even if I couldn't reply to all. My ex-girlfriend is still at her sister's and refuses to speak to me. I tried calling her once out of frustration and a need for answers, but it was a mistake. She answered and immediately called me a violent monster, saying she's terrified of me. She's framed the story so my actions are the only issue, and her cheating is irrelevant. She told me to never contact her again and hung up. That bridge is burned. I'm more angry than sad now. Her lack of remorse is infuriating, and any love I had is buried under resentment. She's telling everyone she's the victim of an abusive man, conveniently leaving out that she was cheating in our bed. Whatever, I'm done with her. Regarding the 19-year-old, my lawyer got details on his injuries from hospital reports. He needed 12 stitches on his face and scalp and suffered a severe concussion. I split his eyebrow open, and my tackle likely caused his head to hit something hard. He's lucky it wasn't worse, and I'm lucky I didn't face worse charges. I'm not a violent person. I've never been in a real fight before. Knowing I could do that to someone makes me sick. I can't sleep without seeing the blood on the floor. I genuinely hope he recovers fully. He didn't deserve that, no matter how angry I was. The kid's parents have hired a civil attorney. I received a letter through my lawyer demanding I pay for medical expenses and pain and suffering, or they'll sue. The medical bills are around $8,000 so far, and that could grow with follow-ups. My lawyer says we might settle to avoid court, but I don't have that kind of money, especially with no income. This is a nightmare. On the criminal case, I'm still out on bail. I had an initial hearing, pleaded not guilty for now, and we're waiting. My lawyer says a conviction on felony assault could mean a couple of years in prison, though maybe less since I have no record. The DA might offer a plea deal, but nothing yet. I'd jump at a misdemeanor with no jail time, but I don't know if that's possible. The stress is crushing. I wake up every day with this weight on my chest. Work-wise, I'm done. My boss called and said I'm terminated, pending an HR review, but it's basically official. They cited my arrest and a conduct clause in my contract. 5 years at that job gone. I'm officially unemployed with no income, barely scraping by after bail and legal fees. Finding work in this small town is impossible. Everyone knows what happened, and checking, yes, on arrest questions kills job applications. My landlord is building a case to evict me, citing the police incident as a lease violation. I tried explaining, but he talked about tenant safety. I'm not optimistic about staying long-term, and with no job, I might not afford rent anyway. I'm considering moving out to avoid an eviction on my record. Here's a gut punch. My ex cheated before. She left her laptop behind and it had no password. I snooped, yes, I know it was wrong, and found out she'd been cheating for months, not just with the 19-year-old but with at least one other guy, a coworker she called an old friend. Her messages showed flirty chats, explicit photos, and meetups at his place, his car, and possibly our apartment when I wasn't home. She lied about girls' nights and even joked with a friend about how I was oblivious. One message hit hard. She wrote, "I care about me in my own way, but I'm not in love and a girl has needs, lol." Her friend egged her on. Reading that made me feel like a fool. I was faithful for 3 years while she used me for stability. I texted her about the laptop, saying I knew everything. She didn't address the cheating, just called me a psycho for playing victim and told me to lose her number. She's rewritten our history so I'm the sole bad guy and her betrayal doesn't count. I can't even argue because my actions gave her ammunition. My life is a wreck. I'm on bail, facing trial, likely broke from legal and settlement costs, jobless, possibly homeless, and abandoned by most friends. I called a crisis hotline one night because I was in a dark place. It helped a bit. I'm looking into low-cost therapy as I have no insurance. My goals are to avoid prison, not go bankrupt, and survive each day. The anger is fading, replaced by fear and depression, but I'm pushing forward. I'll update if anything major happens. Thanks for the advice and tough love. I know I messed up and I'm facing the consequences. Update 2, it's been a few weeks and there's some progress, some good, some bad. The DA offered a plea deal. They'll reduce the charge to misdemeanor assault if I plead guilty. The sentence would be 18 months probation, mandatory anger management classes, and community service. No jail time, but a criminal record. My lawyer says it's a good deal, considering the kid's injuries. The DA likely doesn't want a trial, and my clean record helps. He thinks we could push for less probation, but taking this avoids the risk of a felony and prison. I'm leaning toward accepting it. The thought of closing this without jail is a huge relief. I haven't signed yet, but I told my lawyer to signal I'm interested. My court date to finalize is soon, and I'm both nervous and eager to move on. On the civil side, the kid's parents pushed for a lawsuit, but my lawyer negotiated a settlement. I'll pay $5,000 to cover medical bills and some damages, and they'll drop further action. They wanted $8,000 plus, but my lawyer argued I'm broke, and a long legal fight wouldn't benefit them. They agreed. Now I need $5,000, which I don't have. My brother loaned me $2,000, I have $1,000 in savings, and my parents will cover the rest, though it's a burden for them. I'll pay in installments over 6 months. It's tight, but it resolves the civil case, which is a weight off. My ex came to collect her stuff, with her brother and sister for support. I stayed out of the way while they packed. As she left, I couldn't resist saying, "I hope it was worth it." That set her off. She screamed that she never truly loved me, that I was convenient but not fulfilling. She admitted using me for financial security while seeing others because I didn't meet her needs. Her sister seemed shocked, but she kept going, saying our relationship was dead for her for over a year. She even sneered, "Enjoy probation, you lunatic," as she left. Her brother muttered an apology. After they were gone, I lost it. I punched a wall, dumb move, my knuckles still sore, and cried for the first time since this started. It was a release of all the anger, betrayal, and stress. I see now that the person I loved wasn't real. I never want to see her again. I'm still jobless. The misdemeanor conviction will make work hard to find, but I'm looking at gig jobs. A friend who does home renovations offered me some cash work painting and doing drywall. I'll take anything. Community service might keep me busy in a good way. Maybe I'll learn something while cleaning parks or whatever they assign. I'm moving out of the apartment when the lease ends in 2 months. The landlord was relieved I won't renew as he didn't want to evict me. I'm moving in with my parents, which stings at 28, but it's practical. The apartment holds too many bad memories, and I can't afford it. My parents are supportive, happy I'm avoiding jail and getting help through probation. Emotionally, I'm up and down. Some days I'm depressed, others I feel almost normal. A few friends have stuck by me. One comes over weekly to watch sports, which feels like a slice of normalcy. Others have distanced themselves, and my reputation in town is shot. I'm that guy now. But with the legal stuff nearing resolution, I'm hopeful I can rebuild, even if it takes moving away or years. I'm not the first to lose it in a moment of rage, and I'll prove that doesn't define me. I know some of you criticized me harshly, and I deserved it. I hope you see I'm facing consequences and owning them. My ex faces no legal trouble, but life might catch up to her. I won't update again until I'm well into probation, hopefully with news that I'm staying out of trouble. My plan is to follow court rules, complete probation, and maybe explore expungement later. I'll also be cautious with future relationships. Trust issues will linger. Thanks for the advice and support. This has been the hardest lesson of my life. Hopefully, my next update will be, I finished probation and things are looking up. A small gossip note. I heard my ex's other guy, an older married man, lied about being separated. When she found out, he kicked her out to save his marriage. She's now bouncing between friends and her sister's places. There's a rumor she's pregnant, not sure if it's true or whose it is. I won't dig further, but I'll admit it gave me a fleeting sense of grim satisfaction. My life's a mess, but hers isn't perfect either. Petty, I know, but it's something. Update 3, it's been 4 months, and this is likely my final update. I took the plea deal and pleaded guilty to misdemeanor assault in court. The judge approved the agreement. 18 months probation, 100 hours of community service, a 26-week anger management program, a $500 fine and probation fees. No jail time beyond the 2 nights I served. When the gavel hit, I felt immense relief, no more fear of prison. I'm on probation and must stay out of trouble, and I'm following every rule to the letter. My lawyer called it a second chance, and I'm not wasting it. Probation is manageable. I meet my probation officer twice a month to discuss my job search, anger management, and community service. It's humbling, but my PO is fair. He says if I stay on track, I'll be done in no time. He's seen worse cases turn around, which gave me hope. I've completed 40 of my 100 community service hours, working at a food bank and doing park cleanups. It's not bad. Physical work keeps me occupied, and it feels good to contribute something positive. I'm halfway through the anger management program. I was skeptical at first, but it's helping. The group sessions make me feel less alone in my struggles. I'm living with my parents now, and my uncle gave me a job as a laborer on his construction crew. It's low-paying, under-the-table work, demolition, cleanup, basic tasks, but it's something. It keeps me active and exhausted, which helps me sleep. My uncle's supportive but blunt. He says I messed up but can move past this. It's just a chapter, not my whole story. I've met guys on the crew with rough pasts, like a foreman who did time for a DUI crash in his 20s. He's stable now and shared how he rebuilt his life. That gave me perspective, seeing someone who's been through it and came out okay. Most friends have drifted away, but my high school buddy still comes by weekly. We watched a movie recently, my first normal outing in ages. He gets why I snapped, having been cheated on himself, and his support means a lot. My ex, I don't care anymore. I heard her other guy was fully married, not separated, and dumped her when she found out. She's couchsurfing now, and there's that pregnancy rumor, but I'm not chasing details. I'm focused on myself, staying out of trouble, working, and rebuilding. I'll keep my head down, finish probation, and maybe explore expungement someday. Thanks to everyone who followed this mess. I hope my next chapter is boring and stable.